Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Oakland Athletics. I hope you're all having a lovely Friday. Um, Unusually for me, I'm actually recording this Thursday evening. Normally, I try to record videos a little bit in advance, but today it didn't work out that way. So here we are. Couple of items. The first thing is, if you are a fan of the game as I am, you already have heard that Out of the Park Baseball 25, can you believe it, guys? 25 years of Out of the Park Baseball, is releasing on March 15th. As has become tradition, I will plan to do um, a video that day, that evening. However, it will take me time to get home from work and eat dinner, so I don't know when it's gonna happen. I'm gonna try to target 8 o'clock Central, but we'll see what happens. But it will be coming. Don't worry yourself about that. Um, to that end, I wanted to thank all of you who had the amazing suggestion to just keep on going with the A's. So that's exactly what we're going to do until OTP 25 announces. Now, if you haven't seen the announcements yet, um, you can pause this video and go watch them now. My feelings won't be hurt. And I say that because they're adding something I have begged for, pleaded for, got on my hands and knees for, which is they're changing player development with something called the Player Development Lab. We actually get to decide how our players develop, which is something that I think has been desperately needed. One of the great challenges of a game like OOTP, any kind of sports management game, it tends to favor people who want to be managers and not the people who want to be general managers. This is why, for example, we've already played several football games on this channel. They tend to focus heavily on calling plays, which is fine. There's definitely reasons that you might enjoy that kind of thing. But that's not what I want from a sports video game. I want to manage their roster. I want to see my players grow and change and make decisions about their status. So, super pumped by that. They've also announced a partnership with the Hall of Fame. They're going to import I believe they're importing every single Hall of Fame plaque and using some other iconography that really make it feel like they're real Hall of Famers, which is exciting too. Before we go any farther, let's talk about what happened last time, namely a World Series. I have not decided on this. I will do so momentarily. We did it. We won another World Series in convincing fashion, and we have retained the Promised Land. Do we have anybody who has been on the team for all of our championships? So let's remind ourselves. We started this game in 2023. We have won 4 championships. Who is on the 2029 Oakland A's, I wonder? None of these guys are still on our roster. Some of them are actually still playing baseball, and quite incredibly, but none of them are still on the Oakland A's. Our best player that year was good old Peyton Green. Um, he's not going to make the Hall of Fame. He hasn't even gotten above 10% in a long time, but we're going to keep voting for him because he's just that bloody good. Pitching wise, Shane McClanahan was on that franchise, was on that team. I know he got nowhere near the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he just fell off last year. So we don't have anybody that's been to all 4, but do we have anybody who's been to 3 of them? Sean DeWitt, have you been around since 2033? No, your first season was 2035. I don't think we have anybody left from the 2033 team. If we did, it would be pretty shocking. But let's check. Who was on the incredible edible 2035 Oakland A's? 2033 Oakland A's. Is there anybody left from that team? Peyton Green got his second championship with that team. Juan Demoy is still in the major leagues, as is Mike Swanson, but neither one of them are on the A's anymore. Paul Skeens also has 2 World Series rings, so we have to win one more World Series just so our current players have 3. Now, the other 2 championships are close enough together that I suspect there's probably quite a few people on both the 2038. Well, maybe not. Who's on the 2038 A's that's still around? Sean DeWitt, Chris Hughes, but only because he left and came back. None of the rest of you jokers. Pitching wise, Chris McDevitt has long since departed. Jesus Ramirez, no, we traded him too. Oh damn, Juan Demoya actually has 3 World Series rings with the A's. No, he has 2. He's on the 33 and 38 rosters. Bobby Stoll is the only pitcher from that roster that happened to acquire 2 World Series rings. Good for him. What a lovely little look back at some of our greatest moments. Has Chris McDevitt retired yet? He's still poking around. People are still paying him for that giant contract I gave him. You're welcome. I genuinely don't think he's got even a snowball's chance at the Hall of Fame. I genuinely don't. There was a time, 2038, when I thought he would be indestructible, and he had some really good seasons. But his problem is in his later career, he's just vanished. He's had a decent 10-year career, much like the recently retired Corey Kluber, but without any hardware. He's a 2-time All-Star and a 1-time champion, and that's it. He did finish second in the Cy Young in 2038, but that's if he even makes it. He's only going to be on the roster. He's only going to, if he even makes it to the Hall of Fame ballot at all, it's going to be as a one and done, I think. All right. What about this year's team? Where do we need to improve? Shortstop remains an area of weakness. I would love to get a right fielder that can be a top tier player for us. Big Sam Laws is locked up for a very long time now. So we've got some stability, but we could still upgrade our offense slightly. Pitching seems pretty solid. There's not really too much I can say. Rule 5 draft. I don't want to lose Dan Downing. Josh Allman is fine. Oh, give me Liberty or give me Homicide. No, give me my scouting director, bitch. Right. Who is the worst player on the 40-man right now? It's a bunch of people. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to Jeff Cleveland. He is a captain, which I don't think we have at the moment, do we? Well, I've got loads of captains. So Jeff Cleveland, I'm going to go ahead and trade you. I'm not going to get very much for you, if anything, but I just want you off my team. Just mostly to free up a spot on the 40-man, because I want to make sure I have some room to grab a player or two. Juan Vega is not that good. You're a decent defender, I guess. There's value in being a decent defender. I'd wish you were a little bit more useful, but I'm gonna take Vega just, but no, Vega's a terrible defender. I don't want somebody who's bad at both. Like I can handle somebody who can just hit or who can just field, but I don't want somebody who does neither. Like say Courtney Letson. I will trade for Luis Vicencio and call it a day. Um, I want to keep Dan Downing. I don't know that Dan Downing is going to be guaranteed a spot or anything, but I do want him to give him the chance. The question is then, is anybody here particularly worth keeping? I'm gonna go ahead and waive. Where's that fuckhead? Juan Rojas. Rojas may call for aid, but I will not answer because I'd rather keep Juan Mijares, who at least has an interesting offensive profile. Ricky Alexander is not terrible. He already seems like he'd be a pretty nice addition to the club. Jerry Colker is fine, but not terribly thrilling. I like Jerry Strachan a lot. Like, a lot. He's a really well-rounded hitter that also happens to play fairly well. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to take Strachan every day of the second. He actually has a decent chance to even make the team out of spring training. So I'm all for that. Which then allows you to add Juan Mijares to the 38-man roster so we don't lose him. I feel like second base only guys have lost some of their charm. Especially because of Takimoto. Like, a guy who can only play second base is just not a valuable piece to me. So I'm going to go ahead and trade him so we don't trade him for nothing. We don't lose him for nothing, essentially, because we might in the Rule 5. Jeff McCullough is not a bad player. Let's make it work. Then McCullough is going to instantly going to claim a 38-man spot. That's fine. Anybody else here just flat out sucks? Um, I think I had to give up on Vince Callison as much as it pains me. The thing is, Bays can actually play a shortstop, and you can't. So I think I have to trade you, Mr. Callison. I need some flexibility on the 38-man roster, so away you go. But I'm not going to trade him for Kevin Childress, because Kevin Childress sucks. I'm just going to go ahead and non-tender him, quite frankly, and we'll see if anybody claims him. Any coaches I gotta hire? I don't think so. Oh, I do need to hire a bench coach and a first base coach. You have a terrible relationship with people, Mr. Cleoffa. I don't think calling you up makes a lot of sense. And Leighton Hillers is not a very good coach. Um, let's grab a bench coach first. Ideally, like somebody young. You'd have a good relationship, but only with the true veterans. Like the younger player are. I don't mind you at all. I think you'd be a pretty decent coach for us, but I think you're going to be our first base coach. Um, Yeah, that seems like a good idea. I'm gonna make you my first base coach if that is a position. Oh, you get to hire your own bench coach. Can I hire you as my first base coach? I can do that, so I will. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, Mr. LaRue here gets to hire his own bench coach as it pleases him. That's fine. I do need a new pitching coach. Give me the pitchingest pitching coach you've ever had. I mean, I would murder people for Shane Hill to come be our pitching coach, but I think he's probably going to refuse. But we can try. We can but attempt. I'll give you 200 grand because you're that good at pitching coach. How does that sound? Everett, my man, I am willing to give you an extension if you want it, but I don't think you're going to want it. I think you're going to want a new job. To which I say, Godspeed to you, good sir. Godspeed. Um, Esteban Silva is a pretty damn good player, but I don't like that they're giving up Mike Ellie for it. I don't care about Reveles. What if I drop Ellie? I'm gonna try just making this offer and see what you think about that as a counter proposal, Seattle. Because actually, I like the idea of getting Silva. Brilliant. Oh, do the Mariners not want to talk? Oh, it's expired. You must have traded Silva to somebody else. No, you didn't. Interesting. Oh well. We better be taking home some hardware this season. That's all I gotta say. Mr. Callison can go to AAA. I demand all of the hardware. You know what, Mr. Collis? I wish you well. I hope you've learned much from me. Let's get a new assistant GM. I frankly don't even know what an assistant GM is going to do for me at this point. I guess development preference. Like, I don't really know what makes a good GM at this point. So maybe I just go for somebody that's cheap. I want somebody that's young and relatively cheap. Here we go. Xavier Javier. I'll make you my assistant GM. Not a single gold glove or silver slugger? Oh, silver slugger's tomorrow. Got it. Um, the dream will continue for Peyton Green. I will vote for the Love Machine and Edgar Caro. Ernesto Lima very clearly deserves the Hall of Fame. He's an interesting player. I am concerned he won't be able to make it though, because he does have less than 2,000 hits, but I do think he deserves it. He's a really fucking good player. I will vote for Alejandro Kirk and Wander Franco, even though the real Wander Franco is kind of sussy dude. Edgar the Interceptor Delgado, just for that name, I'm gonna vote for you for 1 year. Cam Collier's not bad. Jackson Chorio. Jonathan Bautista, and Francisco Alvarez. That seems good. Let us chat about things once we have cleared through this. Oh my gosh, I haven't done arbitration stuff. Really? There you go. I've completely neglected arbitration stuff. That's the more fool me. Okay. Mike Ellie is very clearly being re-signed. Like, just no hesitation. Let's bring him back. Wilfredo Rivera wants a pretty big raise. I don't think I'm gonna keep him. I don't think it makes sense. Like, am I insane to not keep him? I don't think that I am. He's just too injury prone. And yes, he'll give you 100 plus innings a season, but just over. I think trading him now when he's at the peak of his value does make some sense. Prospects and regulars, what do you got? Any blue? Any blue? One blue. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why the AI looks at this guy and goes, "Oh my god, peak baseball." Like, he's fine, but He's not a 70 prospect. He's genuinely not that good a prospect. Maybe I just don't have enough data on him to make an informed decision. Okay, so I'm not really seeing a starting caliber outfielder being offered to me. So that's the case. I'm going to ask for a prospect package and see if we can get like a couple of greens. Juan Livanos is a pretty decent infielder. Stefan Kibbe is fine, and Caleb Citronelli is not exciting. Can I get 2 greens from anybody? I can get exactly 2 greens. Brendan Shapiro is a really decent catcher. I like you a lot. And John Hack is a really well-rounded outfielder. Ricciardo Tapia is a pretty good hitter. Scooby is a really good outfielder. And Gilg Schult is Gilg Schult. Tapia could be a really good player. But the thing is, a really good potential catcher like Mr. Shapiro here is just something I can't pass up on. This is a catcher who's actually hit in the minor leagues too, so I do think this is the best deal, and we're gonna make this trade. Done. That maybe wasn't the best of ideas, but I think it was the right idea. Mort King, don't make me fucking laugh. I will happily non-tender you. I mean, I guess I could probably trade you and see if I could get a prospect for you, but I ain't letting you stick around of your own accord. You're either getting non-tendered or you're getting shipped out, but you're certainly not staying with me. Tim Kirshner, you're in. Who else is arbitration eligible? I like McManus. I think he's earned at least another year to perhaps improve, but he is going to be on semi-thin ice. But I do think he's earned at least one more year before we're ready to give up on him entirely. There we go. Rogelio Morales had a really good year. Like, really, really good. I think we have to keep him. It's the right thing to do. Ken Armstrong is a really interesting catcher. I kind of feel like now that we got Shapiro, that it has to be Shapiro, right? Because Ken Armstrong is good for what he does. He's a batting average based catcher who's not terrible with the glove. I'm gonna instantly add both Shapiro and Hack. I mean, I guess we could keep Armstrong for one more year. And I do think his superior defensive talents make him a little bit more valuable, but he is going to top out as a one win player for the most part, which isn't unvaluable, but also certainly isn't something I feel the need to invest a bunch of money in. You're not starting guaranteed. You can immediately stop it with that nonsense. If you're going to get greedy about it, I will fucking trade you. No, you're being stupid. I'm trading you. Somebody else can fall for your bullshit, but not me. I'm getting a lot of walkers from him too, which is pretty tasty. Granted, most of which will need a 40-man spot, but that's okay if they're worthy of it. I don't hate Pat Gibson, but I'd like a little bit more than that. Because somebody's going to get a starting caliber catcher. That's kind of why I also think I want to go prospect package for him. And I'm looking for 2 greens. I could get Gibson, Colker, and this other fucker. Juan Castillo isn't terribly thrilling, but this is kind of the winning deal, the one from the Twins. I think it might be the only deal that's worth taking. Yeah, nobody else is offering me 2 greens, so even if I'm not terribly excited by Shithead McGee here, it's still the best deal that I've got. I don't care that the fans are sad. Sean DeWitt got a Silver Slugger, as did Sam Laws. Both the outfielders got one. Cool. Jerry Colker is not terribly thrilling, but he's interesting enough to get a 38-man roster spot, and we can give him a chance. Chris Orr wants a shit ton of money. Chris Orr is looking for a ginormous raise. He's gotten it done in 2 consecutive seasons, though. Like, as shitty as it feels to extend his contract to this degree, I think we have to for right now. I'm not giving you a long-term deal. Don't be silly. You got to earn that shit. But I will give you your arbitration amount. Dan Bay still has value. He's got enough value that I don't want to get rid of him entirely. But if he is starting for us for any length of time, I will be deeply concerned. Oops. Not what I wanted. Can we do 1.7 million? Why do you keep doing that? 1.8 million. Fine. Yes, I'll offer Robbie Herbertson a fucking $20 million offer. No, I don't want Robbie Herbertson anymore. He's done his job. I know I could keep him, but I do not wish to. Really? No Rookie of the Year for Takimoto, huh? Was it close? He was second. Was Mike Harris really that good? I mean, I guess he's pretty decent. Yeah, good job, Steve. Steve-O McGeevo. RJ Edwards got a Cy Young Award. That's pretty badass. Lots of people signed new contracts. I do, don't I? I'm gonna send all of you guys to AAA. What's the problem with Juan Castillo? I mean, it doesn't have to be on the 30-man roster. In fact, he could not even be on this team at all. Like, I didn't want him. I just fucking cut the guy. Like, I don't want him on this club. He offers little to no value. I'll fucking cut his ass and somebody else can deal with his shit. What are we looking at for player development? I think they're both going to be. Oh no, we can have a player development at budget. We're allowed to have that. How much do I actually factually have to spend? Let's get an exact number. Okay, that's last year. So I'm projected my budget to earn. Basically, I can't spend. I can't get any free agent that's cost more than $3 million. That's what we're talking about here. Is there a way to save money? Like a decent chunk of money to free up more cash for an interesting free agent? Probably not. Probably. I did not make a decision on Chris Hughes. I'm such a dumbass. Yeah, I'm voiding his contract. There you go. That was so dumb of me. That was money left on the table. Now I should have approximately 8 million to spend. Yep. There we go. All right. That's still not a ton of money. To be certain, but it's more money, and that's a good thing. Um, Chris Orr is going to get stupid expensive, stupid fast, and there's really nothing I can do about that. There's just nothing I can do about it. Um, mm, damn, Barrios, respect. You would give me the Brixton Nelson? No, I don't need your shitty relievers. At no point have I ever wanted one. Fuck off, is my response to you. Nobody's gonna hit arbitration. It's all gonna be about free agency. The Nationals want to give me a decent pitcher, but I don't think so. What about Blattimore? Meh. Meh. Reject. Alright. So, what do we most want in our the heart of our souls? What do we want more than anything? A shortstop is quite near the top of that list. And I don't have any shortstops that are anywhere near major league ready. Kevin Brown, maybe? Kevin Brown is a decent glove, but I'd like to see him develop offensively, so I don't think calling him up early makes too much sense. I truly don't. Sam Brewer is just a stupidly expensive guy. I think I'm going to trade him too, just as a way to try to save some cash. If I can make that happen. If somebody, no, nobody wants him, that's fine. Yeah, an upgraded shortstop would probably be among the most valuable things I could have. Um, I keep saying I want a starting caliber right fielder. I've got a lot of people that can compete for that role. And I think we just let spring training sort that out. So unless I can get a good value free agent, all players please. And I want Taj Drugs. I cannot afford Taj Drugs, even if I wanted to. It is not a thing that I can afford. Let's use my bargain shopping filter. I mean, Miyoshi Hamamoto will cost me $0. I don't know that he's an amazing shortstop, but he's a damn fine infielder. I will happily offer him a contract. No dispute. I'll even give him a chance to earn the job in spring training. That's a really good deal. I'll also have Mike Cromsey, because again, he costs me no money. I guess he does cost me some money. I don't think so then. I think I'm properly happy with the only player we had being Hamamoto to be just a really good hitting reserve infielder. Others said he knows how to break a fart in the locker room, which I mean would definitely end the tension. If you're getting chewed out by the third base coach and he just lets one rip, that's just good timing. I feel like some major league player that was their thing. Like they would just like let out giant farts, and people would be like, "Holy shit, that's wild." Fuck off, man. I'm not even getting a response there, which is interesting. Good old Josh Berry is changing clubs. Wait, which of these guys is actually the guy that I care about? Like, who's actually on my list? It's not Josh Berry. Is it Jim Goff? He is on my list. Did you actually play for me at any point? You did not. I drafted you, and then I traded you to get Sam Feeney. That feels like a win to me, honestly. Feels like a win. Did we ever get our assistant GM? Or we no, we still don't have one. It's fine. Let's get Brendan Mollahan just because he's super young, which means I can tell him to fuck off if he irritates me, which is always a valuable thing. Mm. Um, all right, what do we got? Are there any intriguing players here, I wonder? There are a non-trivial number of intriguing players on this roster here. Damn it, one of the ones I really wanted appears to be gone. Johnny Wolverton. Decent control and stuff. A nice fastball sinker combo. Hmm. Mm. Get that evil out of there. Um. I actually like Matt Godley quite a bit. Give me Matt Godley. I will add him to my roster if he would like to be added. That's probably fine. I mean, it would be foolish of me not to check shortstops, but there's not going to be anybody here that's that valuable, I don't think. I mean, Eri Galaviz isn't a terrible choice. He's a pretty decent all-around fielder. But if all I care about is defense, Juan Galicia is about as good as it gets. Yeah, let's grab Galicia. That seems fine. But I think I'm just gonna end it. I think I've got two players that could potentially be interesting. It feels weird, but I feel pretty good about this offseason, despite the fact I spent exactly $0 in free agent money, and I think that's probably appropriate. Chris Orr is going to end up leaving. I don't want to ruin your day, but he is not staying. Payne Green hangs on another year because we're pals. That's why. I mean, he's just not sticking around for that much longer. As much as I enjoy what Chris Orr brings to the table, the truth of the matter is Dan Whitsett is an equally capable first baseman, and I've got other first basemen who probably could make some hay given the opportunity. So that's how I feel about that. Let's go ahead and zip on down to the international free agent signing. Why am I trading to get worse? Like, admittedly, Mr. Levette here could be a special player down the line. But I don't like giving up on Chris McManus this soon, especially if I'm eating his entire salary. Like, that's just silly. It is silly Billy in the extreme. I will retain $0. Ah, then I must politely but firmly decline, Tigers. I could have my very own Jesus Rigo. He's fine. I mean, trading Bizet would free up some cash. And I don't think Hermosillo is going to be anything special, so I'll make this trade just for the sake of making it. Like, I really don't care. Oh, man, could I have gotten a better player? No, you guys are actually both worse. Yeah. That's all about freeing up cash. It's a little bit more cash. I still have all the money that I could ever want. Not all the money I could ever want. Let's go to the accounting page. If I increase the scouting budget by 5 million, does it break things? It does not. Yeah, I think the person who said that was actually spot on. He was spot on. We will definitely try to sign an international free agent if the right one is available to me. I refuse. Do I refuse? If you would if you would just eat his entire salary, I would make this trade right now. And I wouldn't even hesitate. But the problem is that they can't afford it. And I don't agree with trading just for the sake of trading. I'd rather keep McManus. Than not get very much salary relief for him. Are any of you fuckers that good? Julio Ayala is a kind of game-changing center fielder. I really feel like going after him makes sense. I will offer you $5 million to sign with me. I'm going to simulate 1 week. Do we get him already? That'd be super dope if we did. Mr. Rico, you're going to triple that. I don't like the fact you're calling it a fair offer, which means you're going to force me to bid up. I need you to sign with me. You're a dynamic young player. You suck. I guess I gotta offer you the whole pool, and then I'll just have to cut the scouting budget or something. But yeah, you're a rare, super athletic player. I can't afford to let you walk if I can acquire you. And then just let you get through the system. And you signed, which is good. I appreciate that. I probably broke the budget with him. No, I'm still good. Okay. I can dig it. All right, preseason begins. Do we adjust the ticket price at all? I wonder. Oh, I guess I can't until spring training, maybe. Okay. I feel like Hamamoto is a dark horse addition that will cost me very little money but have a huge impact. Really, Ayala, you've been in this fucking team for 10 seconds and you're already losing some of your skill. Come on, dude. Come on. Have some value. No, I'm not going to trade Chris McManus without meeting his entire salary. That's fucking stupid. It is an idiotic idea. I get it that people want to get them some Chris McManus. Who wouldn't? But I'm not going to give him away for nothing. I'm not going to soak his salary. I don't have that kind of player payroll flexibility right now. Spring training. We're gonna add a bunch of people to spring training, guys, including Hamamoto, including Strachan, including Myrix, including Matson. Kevin Brown can at least have a spring training visit as a treat, but I think that's probably as high as I'm willing to go. Um, and then let's advance in a forward fashion and see where that gets us. I know this isn't the most exciting of off season, but I actually feel really good about it. I think we shed payroll intelligently, and we've added some surprisingly good contributors. Like I don't know, we added a starter. That I don't believe is accurate, but I do think we've added enough people that can compete for a starting role, and just make the whole team just that tiny bit better. Who is Dennison, and why do I care? Why do I care about Dennison? Oh, because I drafted you and then I traded you for Joey Harper. Joey Harper, yeah, I've got nothing. I think that I don't think that's a trade that I lost so much as nobody won that trade. We all lost. Losing Takimoto for 3 weeks isn't great, but I'd rather lose him now when he has a chance to recover and still be useful. Than lose him for the whole season, for example. That would be a very bad thing. Hmm. Player development. Bob Matson got worse. That's not a great sign. Brexton May got better. Bobby Stoll got better. RJ Edwards got better. Dan Downing got better. Zarian Dennis got better. Stock got a little better. Shapiro got a tiny bit better. Whitsack got better. Takimoto got better defensively. That's not nothing. Nelson Vigil improved slightly. Kevin Brown improved in some ways. Strachan got better. Colker got better. Hack got better. Seward got a little better. Some other improvements down the line here. Max Sheffield is adding more velocity. He's really pitching his way into contention for a future spot if he continues to develop. Which I kind of expected. It's why I drafted him. But I really appreciate that he is adding velocity. Wait, what? This says that it improved, but doesn't show that here. Oh, because my scout isn't the one scouting him once again. Game. Okay. Let's get the roster set up, and then we will end the episode. We're at 40 players. 17, I want to get down to 13 pitchers. Matt Godley is an okay reliever, but he is a terrible starting pitcher. I think I'm just going to release Godley. I'm going to send him back to his home team. Say thanks but no thanks. Matson to the minors for sure. Sigmund to the minors. Dixon to the minors. Where am I at? 13 pitchers. This is fine. I think this is going to be a perfectly acceptable rotation or a perfectly acceptable pitching staff. I need a starting pitcher. I need a genuinely decent starting pitcher. I did not think about that. I have not replaced Rivera. That was a strange move on my part. Is there an interesting free agent starting pitcher that one might acquire if they were so bold? I mean, Clark Granoff cost me literally nothing, so I'm happy to pay nothing to him. I did not think about getting a fifth starter. This may prove to be disastrous. Hmm. Cancel culture? No. Who do you think is my top starting pitcher in terms of player development? I'm scared. Yeah, the only pitcher you think, like, you think Sheffield or Blakely could be a decent starter. And they're both far off from the major leagues. Which I'm not a big fan of, but we can always trade if we have to. And I'm at least going to let Dan. I'm going to quickly simulate 2 days just to see if Granoff signs, which he did, which is perfect. I want Granoff on this roster right now. Like, he's got to be. He's easily the best starting pitching choice that we have available to us. Danning, Dan Downing, off you go. Hello, Clark Granoff. I need you to be my starting pitcher. You're just a better choice. You're just a better choice. I wonder why the fans are so pumped about him. Do they just love Canadians? Maybe. Either way. Um, Lineups. I have 23 position players. That seems excessive. Let's not do that. Catcher is set. First base is set. Oh, I will trade Dusty Flanagan. Somebody's gonna still want him, and I'm eager to see him succeed elsewhere. Nobody? Okay. I will waive him. Brown definitely goes to the minors. This seems fine. It's not what I really want, but it's good enough for the moment. Hamamoto needs to be on the 40-man dump. This is fine for the moment. Okay, outfielders, Hack to the minors. I like keeping Mihares over keeping Tooks. I think Mr. Full of a Tooks needs some time in AAA. So I think we're gonna send him to AAA. Outfielder wise, Myrick's to the minors. I still gotta get rid of a bunch of players still. McCulloch to the minors. Holker to the minors. Holker to the minors. I want Strachan to get reps at AAA. I still have an excessive number of outfielders. Still need to get rid of 2 more players somehow. Ibarra was really bad in the majors last year. I think there comes a point in every prospect's life where you cut your losses. Strachan seems to be a really good all-around player in a way that Ibarra just isn't. The thing is, he's almost fully developed. and he hasn't hit in the major leagues. I think trading Ibarra, especially by getting a pitching prospect in exchange, actually makes a fair bit of sense. Let's try it. I like Jorge Ayala. What if I do a prospect package for him? Really? Do people just realize maybe that he's not that great a player? Is that where we are right now? Trading him for a mid-tier reliever just seems like a terrible decision. I'm just going to send him to the minor leagues and see if he figures it out. Who's going to be a starting outfielder then? I really want Strachan back though. Like I actually think Jerry Strachan is a far higher success rate than Ibarra, because one thing he has that Ibarra doesn't is this elite gap power that I think is going to make him super useful. So we're actually going to call Strachan up and give him a 40-man spot. Um, I think Seward goes to the minors, and then one of the infielders goes to the minors. God, I wish I didn't have Sam Brewer right now. Um, I could send down Witset, but I kind of like having another first baseman, another big time bat. I think it's going to be Pineda goes to the minors, and then I could just try to. No, I'm going to send down Pineda. Brewer is at least a little bit of a better hitter, which gives him a little bit more usefulness, in my opinion. We're struggling, guys. We're struggling to have a consistently good farm system. And part of that's because we've been so successful. Like, that's a huge part of it. We haven't had a good draft pick in God knows how long. Um, we check our team history. What was our draft pick in 2032? Where did we draft? What was our first round pick in 2032? 22nd overall. And that's been our worst year in a long time. So we've had like over a decade of consistent success, which means we're just not getting great draft positions. It is what it is. Um, who are my best prospects? Like, do we have anybody that is intriguing and almost near the major leagues? I have nobody with a 2046. I was a couple people with a 2047 ETA, like Josh Tukes and Dan Whitsat, who's in the majors, and Jerry Strachan, who's in the majors, and Phil Dixon, who's in the minors, Darnell Myricks. My best overall draft pick is a pitcher. It's Josh Bradford. Bradford's got a huge amount of potential, which is fantastic news, but they're which is great. Like I love that for us. Um, but yeah, we don't have a ton of. We basically have five elite talents, six elite talents in our minor league system right now, and most of them are very very young. Um, So let's break down our starting roster. Um, Stop. I hate this so much. I hate that the AI is like, where should Nelson Mitchell play? Oh, I know, let's let him bat lead off. A position he is. Can I force you to start him like sixth? Will you allow me that courtesy? Like, just don't make Nelson Vigil lead off, and you're gonna see things change pretty significantly. You also, of course, might just ignore me, but see, this I approve of. Sam Law's batting leadoff is an amazing decision. I'm totally here for that. Okay. So we've already got three new starters technically, because Sam Bruce playing second base for some reason. And Juan Galicia is playing shortstop. Our defense is probably going to be better than it was last year. Jerry Strachan, low key, could be an amazing position player. This is probably one of our best new acquisitions in quite some time. Clark Granoff cost us $0 and is a reasonably good fifth starter that I'm eager to see what he can manage. And our bullpen remains one of our biggest strengths. We've got a really deep and good bullpen to support a pretty good topside rotation. If I have any concerns, first of all, we're a very left-handed team. And while this park is a lot more neutral, it still does suppress home runs slightly. That's something to be slightly concerned about, a little bit. We're asking a lot from two relatively young players, in Whitsett and Strachan. Now, getting Takimoto back is going to kick this offense into another gear. That's going to be huge. That means Takimoto goes into play second, and somebody shifts over to shortstop, probably Galicia. So we're still getting a great defender to pair with Takimoto, who's a great hitter. There's a lot to like about Strachan. And I am quite frankly floored that we got him for so little. I mean, not so little. Yes, so little. Juan Rojas sucks. Even if putting him in left field makes him look slightly better, no, we got the better player for sure. I am hoping for big things from Mr. Strachan here. We still had Shondo, we still have Sam Laws, both of whom are amazing. We still have Orr. Orr is probably one of our biggest X factors, along with Strachan in particular. I already have a pretty good idea of what Whitsett can do, because he actually played at a pretty high level of both AAA and the majors last year. Strachan is an unknown. He has very little time above high A. He's crushed it, but there is some risk in his skill set. This is understandable. But Orr's type of play is the kind where he's going to be very inconsistent from year to year. And that concerns me. Especially as his contract demands are going to keep getting higher and higher because he hits a bunch of home runs. We probably need to be moving on from him sooner rather than later. He's going to price himself out of our possibilities, and that's fine if he does. But it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I hope for continued growth from Nelson Vigil. If he can start putting the bat on the ball more frequently, that's going to be huge for us. Takimoto return is going to give us a huge shot in the arm offensively. How often are we playing Shapiro? Not very. I think that's okay for now. I just really like having another big time thumper on the roster. And if we let him be a backup catcher, I think he's going to be worth it. We are relying on some interesting new players. Our pitching staff is pretty well established now. Like Clark Granoff is the only major change. Oh, no, I already got rid of that one guy that I took in the Rule 5, so. Um, what is there left to say? Braxton May has low key been one of our better long term signings. Um, we have gotten a ton of value out of him. Just a mountain of quality value as a pitcher. Even if you never started him, which is always my intention when we acquired him, I think you've been a really good reliever. I would like to keep you, but I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to want a fairly sizable raise. Yeah, I'm not paying that. That's not happening. Um, it is impossible. There is another concern to be had. I want to alarm you. Our payroll is going to go up to $200 million next year. Can I really opt out of, say, Sean DeWitt's contract? Is that a thing I can do? He's going to decline eventually. It is going to happen. The question is when. Because he sure shit hasn't yet. Um, if we keep DeWitt, I think we could be setting ourselves up for a little bit of pain. Because we're going to have no money to sign players, and we're going to have to slash a lot of budgets to the bone in order to afford next year. Well, then it gets even fucking stupider in 2049 because other people's arbitration starts kicking in. This could be real bad. And Sean DeWitt is definitely not taking a pay cut, which I kind of hoped he might. I could opt out and offer him compensation to see if he takes the 1 year deal, but I don't think he will. Short of a drastic decline, I think we'd have to keep Sean DeWitt and suffer the consequences, or see what happens after that. Mm. I feel bad for Brandon Bays. I truly feel bad for him because there's nothing to say he couldn't be successful if he got more playing time, but I don't see him getting more playing time. He's already been lapped by Strachan, quite frankly. Strachan has already proven to be his superior. Which sucks for some people, but it's the truth. Um, so here's the thing: if Sean DeWitt retired tomorrow, I could play Brandon Bass at center field and not lose too much. Mm. The butcher's bill is going to be coming due here very, very soon. I have one starter, well, technically two starters over 30. That's nuts. DeWitt and technically Sam Brewer, who's probably not going to be a starter at the moment that Takimoto is healthy. Don't be fragile, please. Be durable. Return quickly and triumphantly. At a certain point, you have to look at the track record and figure out he's just not going to hit in the major leagues. He has two skills: hitting home runs and hitting for contact, and he did neither of them in his first year. So maybe he bursts onto the scene later on, but for right now, he doesn't seem like a great fit. I think Dan Whitsat being an all-around really good player is gonna see us get rid of Chris Orr. Um, I'm not gonna fuck it up just yet, but even if he hits like 60 home runs, I don't think we can keep him. If he hits 60 home runs, we're less likely to keep him because he's gonna want like $15 million, which I cannot afford to pay him. Man, at what point do we realize we've bet too much on one horse? I guess is the eternal question. Um, my Geyser is in the 400-200 club. That's not nothing. He's been a smart base dealer, an amazing on base guy. Um, he's gonna get to 2,000 hits this season, and that might be a nice send off for him. And let some other team pay him a bunch of money to finish out his career. I would love for him to retire in Oakland A. But I don't see his salary demands dropping, which makes him impossible for us to keep. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, if you all are like Avi, you are delusional. If you ever let Sean Do It leave the team, keep him. I'll keep him, and we'll make it work somehow. But we will see. Friends, until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.